How, are you are you concerned about that?
Yeah, I think it'll take me a few games to really, get to where I want to be. But I feel good. We ran quite a bit in practice today. I felt like I've been able to, keep my wind up quite a bit, even away from the floor. So, there's a few minor adjustments that I can make in order to help me out. But no, I feel ready to go, and tomorrow will be a good practice and be ready to go for Wednesday.
You did address this, I'm sure, but just talk about on the verge of this season how you think things are going to be different this year.
But we're going to have to play with even better pace than we have in years past. So that's really 1 through 4, 1 through 5, pushing the ball. We have much different sets than we did when we had LeBron. We're going to have to really get to every spot. Every initiation in our offense. I can't expect anybody to bail us out. So that was the luxury we had with LeBron being on our team. And on defensive end, we're going to have to play extremely physical. We're not a tall, lengthy team, but we are a team that can be very gritty, get to 50-50 balls, box out, and lead teams to only one shot. So there's a number of things that we can do in order to help ourselves out and do our work early. But we're hoping to surprise teams and play extremely well.
Do you think you're ready for this more of the leadership role now? Do you feel like now that camp's over?
Yeah, I think so.
Felt out how to handle everything?
Yeah, I think so. I really believe that it's something that you also have to work on as leadership. And a lot of these guys on this team, like we have veterans like Kyle, even Tristan, JR, who have been there to win, Channing, who's both on and off the floor, such a great guy to be around, also a locker room guy. We have George Hill, who really stepped up today after practice and got on a few guys, including myself. So I think it's a moving target on the leadership front, but I want to take the reins and be the head of that.
Do you feel like this is like the Minnesota years? You're much better equipped for this now than you were then?
100%. I had some bad habits coming from there only because we had such a revolving door. There wasn't. And I've used that phrase a number of times, but there just wasn't much continuity in what we were doing. Only really the last year and a half, we were really building something out, and we were unlucky, had a few injuries, and then I was traded here where we were expected to win a championship every year. So I had learned a lot from a number of guys on and off the floor. So in my 11th year, I just feel like I've seen a lot, I've done a lot. I've been prepared for this moment, and hopefully I can step up in that role, not just on the floor, but off the floor as well, being a leader.
Is there pressure involved in that, though? Is there pressure involved in
Sure.
what you're required?
Of course.
of?
Yeah, of course there is, but it all also relies on me taking my ego out of it and knowing that everybody wants to see the Minnesota Kevin Love, but listen, I'm going to have to really do what's best for the team. I think there was, I mentioned having bad habits. There was not in a lot of cases, but in some cases, just looking back, admitting who I was and who I am now, just having some bad habits that were selfish. I had selfish tendencies. Some were to help the team. Some were, try to reach, to certain new heights that, maybe didn't help the team. But I think, in this year, moving forward, I'm really looking to help other guys. I'm looking forward to facilitating again, whether that be, that full court pass, leading the guys to 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situations, or even in the half court in our elbow action. So I'm excited for all of that.
Have you had a favorite target in terms of the long court pass, the ones that you now LeBron got?
I always love the 2s and 3s. I mean, the one man, whether it be G. Hill or Colin or guys like that, they're going to circle back to the ball, or I'm going to hit them right ahead. It's usually like the Jetties, the Sam Deckers, the Rodney Hoods of the world that I like to hit all those long passes so they have the advantage.
What would be one or two things you think you could, when you talk about leadership, that you could actually talk to guys about that maybe speak with the most authority about, maybe things that when you were a younger player you never thought of?
Sure. I think, something that always got the best out of me was, maybe asking for something outside of my comfort zone, or asking to sacrifice and letting those guys surprise you with their results.
Yeah.
I think that's super key. I think that kind of transcends any organization or business or walk of life. That's always, kind of giving, trying to reach above maybe what you apply or think is your ceiling, and let certain guys or all guys on that team get out of their comfort zone and surprise you. Another thing is to give, and that kind of coincides with giving guys a lot of responsibility. And I think that has been a big part of this year so far is that with LeBron gone, guys are going to have to step up in their roles, myself included. But whether it be TT on a leadership role, whether it be JR, the same thing. G Hill having to step up, play the 1 and 2, bringing the young guys along. There's a lot of responsibilities throughout this team that we're going to have to move forward with and grow with. There's going to be a big growth here for us.
Did you even find yourself sometimes just kind of throwing the ball to him and watching and just get out of the way? And
Oh, of course.
And that could be, while it could be frustrating, it also could be kind of a comfort zone for you too.
It's just so special, to have that luxury. I mean, he's such a freight train going down the floor. He is, with Kyrie and with him, I mean, they're both magicians going down the floor, but he was so powerful, and whether that be, him scoring or finishing on that end, scoring an and one, he was always looking to pass as well. So you found yourself in comfort zone. I wouldn't say complacent, but you find yourself kind of standing still, waiting for that ball and that energy to kind of swing and move your way. But here we're going to have to have a lot of movement, hit a lot of passes, and a couple teams I look at are Nate McMillan's Pacers and Brad Stevens Celtics. They have a lot of continuity, a lot of ball movement, 1 through 5, everybody moving, sharing the ball. So we have to be that sort of a team.
Kevin, when I ask this question, I'm not implying at all that you took any days off, but do you think without
I might have.
Well, but do you think without LeBron it is really, really important that you're out there on the floor as many nights as possible?
Absolutely. Yeah, there were times where I might have been, just you got to put together 48 minutes, solid, 4 solid quarters of basketball. There are a lot of times where we were, I can't say it here, but we weren't very good in the third quarter. Like we'd be front runners, get off to a good start, and then in that third quarter we would get super complacent, and I would really find myself just standing on the perimeter. Like we'd throw it in, and we kind of sit, we wouldn't move around, we wouldn't have cuts, we wouldn't have ball movement, and that kind of set the tone for the second half. Now, I can't tell you how many games in the past 4 years that I felt like we could have won had we just continued with that pass and movement and playing downhill type of basketball. So I think it's very important for each and every one of us, because our strength is going to be in our numbers this year. I think with myself included and Bron and a lot of guys, we were able to bail each other out in certain situations because we had such high-level players. But here across the board, we have very solid guys, very solid veterans, guys willing to prove themselves that are younger or even in their 5th, 6th, 7th year. But the more guys we have out there, the more luxuries we have to switch on the defensive end 1 through 5, and the more firepower we have, the better off we're going to be.
But